Okay, hello. We are back again for some more No One But You. Alright, last time we kind of got into a little fight with Megumi. We overheard a little bit about her, a little conversation with her and this asshole teacher here. Our homeroom teacher, or whatever teacher it's supposed to be. And, well, as it says here on the screen, another week has passed since he spoke to Megumi. That sucks. You know, the relationship didn't last very long, and well, stuff like this can happen in a relationship. You know, arguments, fights, that type of stuff. Well, she kind of blames him. He kind of blames himself, and I guess you know what? He kind of is at fault for the most part. But I think Megumi might have taken it a little bit too far. I mean, Megumi never mentioned anything. I mean, yes, you would expect him to, come to the rescue, but maybe he's afraid himself for whatever reason. But of course, he gave his excuse was that he was actually happy that she was miserable. I don't know if I can believe that. I have a hard time believing that. I never thought of him as, such a... He would have such thoughts. I know that Megumi could have been kind of annoying at times, but he did start feeling bad after a little while. But I do think he did take too long, which I'm not too surprised. I mean, it took him forever to get the idea that Megumi liked him. Or at least accepted the idea for a while. But I hope they can make up, because it would suck. Because I thought Megumi, I think Megumi is a pretty nice girl. She can be kind of clingy and all that other stuff, and kind of stalkerish, you could say. But she definitely does seem like a really nice girl and very energetic. But, well, not at the moment. And it would suck. Even if they don't make up, I don't think he should just leave us and be like, you know what? I don't give a shit about you anymore. I mean, you can definitely tell that there's something wrong. And I think offering some help, even if you're not dating each other anymore, you can still be friends. I believe they could still be friends. I mean, it's not like they had sex or anything. all they had was a little more intimate relationship, just slightly more intimate. I don't even think they ever actually kissed. So, it's not like it really went that far beyond friendship or what it was before. But I still think that maybe it might be possible to fix this. Alright, let's start this off. Another week passed by since I last spoke to Mugumi, and with it came further misery. My neighbors, the Amamiya family, Shiro, and her parents, packed up and moved out of the city, all without so much as a goodbye. Damn, that sucks. I mean, you haven't seen Shiro in so long. That means there's definitely something they were hiding out for some reason. Of course, they did mention that there was a reason, so I don't think it really was Shiro. That really sucks. I mean, Shiro was a nice girl too. Man, so much stress for this dude, man. Made some friends, hasn't seen like two of them in forever. Yui, finally came back. You guys see that. And of course his friend Rio, and then Megumi is like, oh, man, it's like, vacation ended, and now life is miserable. It's like everything was all happy and all that other stuff, and now it has just hit the fan, and man. Rio got his first school suspension after raising his fist towards Mr. Katsuna, or at least the fist I'm aware of, and hasn't been to class since. Shit, man. His friend Rio, buddy, I can totally see him. Rio definitely has a short fuse. Katsuna, their teacher, is definitely an asshole, and I'm surprised that no one has brought up, worrying things. I mentioned it last time. Why have none of the students brought up any worries to the faculty, higher faculty, I mean, if you keep saying something, they're going to have to respond. It only makes a logical sense. If you have students continuously complaining, they're probably going to have to look into it. And that's what I would assume. Yui has been attending on and off, but she outright refuses to sit in on any of Mr. Katsuna's classes, leaving her attendance spotty at best. The only ones still attending are Megumi, who refuses to speak to me, and myself, the only person not taking action despite our current predicament. While I haven't been actively engaging with Mugumi or our new teacher, I have been paying attention. I've been analyzing their new schedules, following them around, and making sure to be close at hand in case something should happen. He's actually stalking her. That's pretty much what he's doing. But I think he's doing it because he's worried. He still cares, I think, about Megumi. He feels bad about it, but I just hope nothing does happen. I don't think he can let this on forever. I mean, at least make some effort to recover his relationship with Megumi. And the way Megumi has been acting lately, it's only a matter of time. Mugumi, I'm just asking you to... I said no. Don't you understand what that word means? Mugumi, that is an appropriate attitude for the class representative to take. Don't give me that. If being class rep means being forced to put up with you, I'll gladly quit. Oh, you'd betray your classmates to a personal grudge? And the personal grudge is probably deeper than most of the students probably could understand. It's definitely something. I wouldn't falter. I'd be like, in my opinion, I wouldn't give a shit. It's like, there's clearly something, and many of the students clearly have seen something wrong. I don't think any of the students would falter. The only ones who might are some of the girls who might be kind of jealous. The guys definitely wouldn't falter. I mean, so many of them have tried to, stand up and be like, hey, stop making Megumi do all that shit. Megumi discreetly glanced my way before answering. I would never betray my classmates, but that doesn't mean I have to listen to whatever you say. Megumi and Mr. Katsuna have been at one another's throats for the last few school days, turning every request into a one-sided shouting match. Our teacher plays the cool, calm, level-headed mediator, leaving Megumi to shout until she seems hysterical. As a result, people have stopped listening to Megumi's complaints, choosing to instead see her as a psycho who can't control herself. Actually, it does. For not only the class representative, but also the student council president to so blatantly refuse to listen to their teacher. You know what, man? If there is something wrong, you do not. If you have to listen to someone, don't matter what position they are. If you definitely feel, of course you have to face the consequences of that. But you do not have to follow through with what anyone says. You don't just follow along like a sheep. Too many people do that. They just follow along with sheep. Huh. Like you even count as a teacher, you freaking pedophile. Holy shit, pedophile. I have no doubt that he probably likes little girls. It's not the first time that someone's ever brought up the concept of him being a pedo. But, as I said before, I don't really consider high school girls, would be in the same category of pedophilia. But I understand what they're saying. Underage girls. Under the age of adult. Out of school, pretty much. Is what I think they're trying to imply. Megumi, that's a rather rushed accusation. I do hope you have some proof to back up those words. Proof? Why, you filthy... Innocent and proven guilty. Mr. Katsuna smirked to himself as the remaining time before our break was depleted. Megumi was left fuming with her fist clenched by her sides, and I'm unable to say or do anything as the bell cut their argument short. Unwilling to remain in his company a moment longer, Megumi stormed off of the room, slamming the door on her way out. Jeez, what's gotten into that girl? I know, right? I can't believe I used to think she was cute. Honestly, how could she say such callous things? Mr. Katsuna has been nothing but kind since the moment he got here. Maybe to you girls. I think you're all blinded. Clearly, he is, I think, being a little slightly aggressive. I think he is trying to make her look bad. He is definitely trying to take that short fuse that she has with him and make her look bad. And I think he gets pleasure out of it. He gets pleasure out of watching her suffer. He's a sick man. To you girls, maybe. But yeah, Mugumi does seem to be going overboard. Listening in on the chatter of the class, Mr. Katsuna continued to smirk as he casually made his way to the classroom door. Well, I suppose I'd better go make sure Megumi doesn't do anything stupid. It's a teacher's duty to look after his students after all. Oh shit. After saying that, Mr. Katsuna left the classroom, immediately heading toward the student council club room. How nice. Even after being abused like that, he's still worried about his students. I have no doubt that, if he goes to that student council room and there's privacy, he's probably gonna yell at her or some other fucking shit. I wouldn't be surprised if he tried to lay a hand on her. That's what I'd be worried about. Like, how dare you fucking say that to me? He'd probably be like, well, we really lucked out on this semester, didn't we? My classmates continued to sing the praise of their favorite teacher. Followed his trail towards the student council club room. Damn, I was hoping he would follow. I was hoping he would follow him. I'm like, you gotta be worried about her, man. Even though, he's saying he's gonna go check on her, you don't know what the hell he might do, and I don't trust him. I would even go follow him and, shadow him. I'm worried about my ex-girlfriend at the moment, because at the moment he is her ex-girlfriend, but cared about each other at one point, and he clearly still does, even though he had some bad things. By the time I had arrived, a heated discussion had already resumed behind closed doors, giving me reason to pause before listening in. After hearing so many of their arguments recently, I'm not really sure I want to listen in on this one. Just listen, man. You're clearly followed for a reason. Just listen. It seems like Mr. Katsuna's sole focus is to get Megumi alone, or perhaps to destroy her credibility so that nobody would come to her aid. I think that might be what it is. One thing. Destroy her credibility, and then take advantage of that so that no one will trust her and believe anything she says, and then take advantage of that, and maybe do something else. And he can probably get away with it because everyone thinks she's a wacko. That might be his. That just might be his goal. Scary as it might be, this might not be the first time he's done it. That's maybe why he's so calm. He's used to being able to be yelled at. He's done it before. It's nothing to him. It's like, yeah, just yell at me. Everyone's gonna think you're a crazy freaking psycho bitch. Once your credibility and everything is gone, I could take advantage of that and I could do whatever I want. No one will believe a word you say. Either way, his plan is succeeding. Megumi barely has a single supporter left in our class. Even the boys are turning against her. This doesn't end soon. Meg. Don't call me that, you creep. In fact, stop calling me by my first name. Oh, come on. Don't be like that, Meg. Your sister never minded me calling her by her first name. And that too. I've told you countless times not to mention her. I'm not allowed to talk about my former students. That's rather rough. As an educator, I take pride in my precious students. Even those who never make it to graduation. Wait, her sister never made it to graduation? That's what I'm getting out of this. You son of a... Whoa, calm down, Meg. If you go any further, you might end up getting suspended, Don't tempt me. Right now, a few days away from school sounds like a dream come true. It saddens your teacher to hear how much you dislike coming to school. Perhaps you'd prefer it if we held some private lessons. Fucking piece of shit. Even I wouldn't want that shit. I mean, she lives alone too. Man, I'm definitely would be fucking worried about her. This dude's definitely fucking... I hate him. I've hated him since the beginning. Not in your life, pedophile. I know better than to listen to a damn thing a pedophile like you has to say. Megumi, as I said before, you best have some proof before you throw around such accusations. A girl could get in a lot of trouble making up stories like those, you know. Don't give me that. I know what I saw. You murdering pedophile piece of shit. Murdering? Wait a minute. I mean, we don't have the whole story here. Did he fucking kill your sister? And rape her or something? Again you call me that? Do you have any idea how much I've suffered because of your spiteful words? The first time since Mr. Kitsuna began teaching our class, he looked genuinely angry, slamming his fist on the desk and yelling at Megumi. Do you know how hard it was to get another job in teaching after what you did? How many asses I had to kiss just to get my old job back? You ruined my life. Maybe she had reason to. You never know. The truth might be that he is. No wonder he wants to make her life miserable. Because he blames her. But the whole question is he really a murderer and a pedophile? If he is a murderous pedophile, and she ruined his life, he deserved it then. He deserves more than that. He shouldn't even be here. He should be behind bars, locked up, getting ass raped in jail. Yeah? Well, at least you still have your life, you murdering pedophile. Oh, that's it. Come here, you little... Fuck, man. If he is going to touch her, you get in there and you fucking smack that guy in the fucking face. You little... What, sir? Walked in, he intervened. The moment Mr. Kitsuna took a step toward Megumi, I opened the door to the student council club room. You actually intervene. Hell. He saved the day! The question is Megumi going to be pissed at him for listening in? He stared at me blankly for a moment, as did Megumi without saying a single word. What's the matter? Oh, this? I raised the cell phone in my hand, showing the camera clearly pointing toward Mr. Kitsuna. My question is, did you record the audio? After following these day after day, I knew there had to be a way to catch him out, and so, obviously though it may be, video evidence seemed like the best course of action. Hidekai? What's wrong, guys? Shy in front of the camera? That's a pity. The video is uploading in real time, so there won't be any do-overs. The only question now is, do I set the video to be public? Mr. Kitsuna continued to scrawl at me, really, both enraged by my interference and unsure of what to do next. Brat, you best keep your nose out of business that doesn't concern you. That's good advice, teacher. But see, this does concern me. After all, what kind of heartless bastard would stand by and watch his girlfriend get attacked like this? Shit, man, Hidekai is still... Even though Mugumi kind of broke it off, Hidekai's like, I'm still here for you, Mugumi. I know we had our fight, but I still care for you. He clearly does. Mr. Kitsuna narrowed his eyes in response to my proclamation. Girlfriend? Aki. That's right. I may not usually act like it, but I am Megumi's one and only. So as long as I'm around, you'll never lay a hand on her. Mr. Katsuna continued to glare at me as I spouted cheesy line after line. But rather than retaliate, he slowly unclenched his fist and took a deep breath. I understand. Take my leave. Eerily calming, complacent, Mr. Katsuna didn't put up a fight as he left. He glared at me once again, as well as the phone in my hand, and quietly left the room, shutting the door behind him. Oh man, I can't believe that worked. Thought I was going to wet myself for a minute there, but I actually pulled it off. I was recording everything, like I said, but the line about uploading the video in real time was a complete bluff. If Mr. Katsuna had taken my phone... Hideaki. Dragging me away from my thoughts, Megumi called my name. Her tone of voice was calm, yet sad. Completely different than the callous and angry tone she had adopted since we last spoke. Megumi, I... Don't say it, Hideaki. Just... don't. No matter what, I don't want to hear your apology. Before I could finish my sentence, Megumi cut me off. Already aware of exactly what I wanted to say. Damn. Too little too late, I guess. Not that I can blame Megumi, after everything I've done or failed to do. There's no way that she would. After all, you have nothing to apologize for. Megumi. Maybe Megumi has accepted that maybe she was a little too, you know, I think she was just angry at the moment. Maybe she's accepted that moment and noticed that, you know what, maybe I was not thinking very well and I got too angry at you. But I think he's also to blame. I mean, even though you don't blame him, I still do think that, you know, he probably could have tried to talk to you more. And, I mean, you could have... I mean, I don't see why you couldn't just tell him now. He's heard plenty of stuff now. Please just tell him what happened. I want to know myself what on earth what you have with him. I mean, clearly, he's part of this now. He is part of this, and the teacher is probably going to try to make his life a pain, too. He is now officially part of this problem. You might as well give him the information. Huh? I don't... Last time you said... I know what I said, and I don't think that I was wrong to say it. But the truth is, it was misdirected. I wasn't angry at you, Hideaki. I was angry at myself. I completely shut you out, then lashed out at you for not understanding. That is pretty much true. You did not tell him anything, and you got angry at him because he didn't really know anything about the situation. But I guess he could have pressed a little bit more, trying to get you to open up. Maybe you'll finally open up. Please open up, Megumi. He's in this now. He's not getting out. Let that man get under my skin and allow history to repeat itself. Then, does that mean you're ready to let me in? Not something I feel comfortable telling people about, especially not now that he is back. But you deserve to know, Hideaki. If only one other person knows the truth, I want it to be you. Right! The truth! About what the hell may be history? From the time of my oldest memory, I always lived in a loving, nurturing household. I lived with a serious father, who devoted himself to providing for us, and caring mother, who could never bring herself to raise her hand at us and my sister, Hitomi. The person I idolized more than anyone else. We're getting some past history. Megumi's past. Throughout my childhood, those perceptions remained unchanged. I loved my family to a fault and always knew I could count on them. I would follow my sister around mindlessly, compete with her for our parents' attention and wind up apologizing as my antics went too far. But no matter how restless I was, no matter how inappropriate my actions, never scolded or hated. My family reciprocated my feelings wholeheartedly, and such minor squabbles would never get between us. As I grew older, although my priorities and loyalties changed, my core feelings remained the same. I looked up to my older sister every step of the way. Every test she aced, every award she received, every confession she politely rejected. She was my idol, the one person above all else who I wanted to emulate. I would follow her around, study the things she studied, acted the way she acted, till the moment when I realized that I didn't have what it took. I was a quiet, unattractive, good-for-nothing little girl with a sister complex, parasite, leeching off my amazing sister, living in her shadow. No matter how much I wanted to be like her, no matter how much I wanted to be her, I couldn't. Time continued to pass us by, and I gradually grew to accept my place. Even if I couldn't become the person I idolized, I could at least be by her side, and that alone would be enough. Oh, you want to join the student council? That's right. And you studied that it isn't all fun and games, right? Understand. There's a lot of work to be done, and there are many responsibilities that come with this job. That's okay. I just want to help you and the other students as much as possible. Is that so? Well, that's quite a nice attitude you have there. But won't you get bored? Being on the student council means giving up your free time for the sake of the school, you know? I know, but One-chan will be there, right? So, there's no way I'll get bored. What a charmer you are. You're going to make your significant other very happy one day. But for the time being, if you're really sure about this, then welcome aboard. You mean it? Of course. Someone has to take over for me as student council president when I graduate. We may only spend this 1 year serving together, but I look forward to working with you, Miss Megumi Hinohara. The relationship my sister and I shared was often subject to ridicule by others, but as long as we were together, I couldn't care less. I truly adored my older sister, and the days we spent working on the student council together were some of the happiest of my life. Whether we were surveying students, helping teachers, or just filling paperwork, every day was bliss. From the bottom of my heart, I wished for those days to never end. Oh, we're gonna see the negative part here, when the sadness comes. But all of that changed, and he showed up. And don't forget about the notes for next lesson. Okay, Hitomi? Yes, sir? Good. After you're done with those, please come to the staff room. We need to have a little talk. Understood. When second semester began, and Hitomi's class underwent homeroom teacher change, her class was paired with Mr. Katsuna, a relatively new teacher transferring in from another school. His credentials were stellar and most of the female students adore him, but Hitomi, from the moment that he appeared, Hitomi began to change. Every day she would come home with a little less energy, tired from all the extra work her new teacher put her through. Both physically and mentally exhausted, she had little time for student council work, for her friends, or even for me. I thought that her diligent nature and work ethic were to blame, but a natural perfectionist, everything Hitomi did required the utmost effort. Thinking that way, what right did I have to interfere? The hard-working sister I so adored was tiring herself out by being true to her nature. How could I do anything except give her my support? But in reality, just naive. I said no. Hey, come on. Don't be like that. I have seen the way you looked at me before. Don't try and deny it by acting all innocent. Just a little won't hurt, will it? Please, I don't want this. One day after school, on a day like any other, I headed over to the student council club room. I was running a bit late after performing cleaning duties for my class, so I hurried over as quickly as I could. When I reached the club room, however, a sign on the door saying that the club wouldn't be meeting and that we should go straight home. At first, I thought nothing of it. It was late, so surely one of the members must have left a note for me to find. But the moment I turned to walk away, I heard the unmistakable voice of my sister. Leave me alone. Get away from me, you pedophile. Holy shit. He's gonna rape her! Well, then how did she die? That's what I want to know. Well, we get the idea that maybe she died. I mean, he called her murder. Does that mean, did she commit suicide? Or did he actually kill her? That's the question. Oh, now you've done it. I thought you were a nice, prim, and proper girl, but to use such a foul word, you're just like all those other bitches. I quietly slid the door open just a fraction, completely unaware of what was going on inside. And the moment I did, I froze. Stop it! What do you think you're doing? Whatever I want, you little bitch. What I saw was Hitomi's homeroom teacher, Mr. Katsuna, holding onto my sister from behind. He was in pain, fiercely resisting his grip, trying desperately to break free. The man, many years her senior, was undeniably stronger, and his position gave him the advantage. Ripping her hair out with one hand, he started to undo Hitomi's shirt with the other. No, you can't do this. Care about what will happen to you? Don't be silly. Nothing will happen to me. That's what he thinks. Something did clearly happen to him, but they must have not had any proof. Or they must not have gotten enough proof. I mean, his reputation and everything, as he said, it's ruined and shit like that, but he still teaches. I can't believe that. Even though he must not have got convicted of rape, or murder, or whatever else. He clearly deserves it, though. I knew that asshole was probably a rapist or something. At worst, I'll just get transferred again, due to the nonsensical raving of a broken little girl. Mr. Katsuna continued unabated, undoing the next button on Hitomi's shirt. The words were having no effect on him. If anything, her resistance excited him even more. You're sick! I'll have you arrested. You'll never see the light of day again. Do try. I love it when the seamlessly strong girls resist. I'm assuming that when he says that, he has done this before. Maybe that's why he transferred. You never know. The big question is, if he's done this before, how many times has he done? How many girls has he raped? Those other bitches falling all over me, but where's the fun if there's no chase? This isn't a chase, you're a criminal. It rose by any other name. More importantly, Hee-chan, are you a virgin? What? Or a pedophile? There's that word again. I understand what she's saying, but as I said, maybe they could have just said you fucking rapist. They're in high school. I don't really, as I said before, I don't think realistically that is pedophilia. would have to look up the definition of pedophilia again. I don't think that is pedophilia, but yes, I understand what they're trying to say. You like underage girls. For a straight-A student, you don't seem to be very smart. I guess we'll just have to fix that attitude of yours. Mr. Katsuna undid another button of Tomi's shirt and then another. She continued to flail her arms, but her teacher was too strong for her to break free. Damn, man. Why doesn't Megumi have a phone? You should take a recording this and you have evidence. And you could freaking call the police right there. Video evidence of what's going on here. And then call, because she's opening the door and listening. It's like the moment when you need a freaking cell phone to be recording something is this right now. She needed help, a third party to intervene. And you didn't intervene? I was too scared to move. I'm not blaming it. I wouldn't blame it. I mean, this is unexpected. I don't think your sister would blame you too. Well, I would hope she wouldn't. I mean, you're afraid. You're scared. You don't know what to do. There's probably so many things going through your head. What the hell's happened? The sister you adore, something's happening to her. You probably don't have anything. You probably feel helpless. For the most part, you probably are. Should you leave? Because you don't know what's going to happen if you leave. Should you stay? Should you go in? Should you intervene? In front of me, I saw my beloved sister, the person who meant more to me than anyone else in the world, being attacked by an older man, and I froze. I recognized how hopeless her situation was. I knew that she needed my help, and yet I couldn't move. My peerless older sister, my role model, my idol, perfect human being, was in trouble. A situation like any other she's been in before. Beautiful, courageous, serene older sister, a girl who could calmly think through any scenario before her, had been enveloped by a scene even she could not find her way out of. My beloved sister was going to be raped. She would have her chastity stolen away from by force, taken by her cowardly cretin who sought to prey on the weak. My perfect older sister would be a shell of her old self, crippled by a disgusting pedophile who wanted nothing more than to satiate his own lust. A despicable, lowly insect of a human being would do irreparable harm to my sister, and I would stand by and do nothing. The more I thought about it, the angrier I became. I could feel the door frame shift in my hand as the strength of my grip increased, threatening to crack the wood as I took toward my enemy with utter malice in my eyes. I never felt so angry in my life. At that moment, I wanted nothing more than to violently murder the man in front of me. When my rage finally consumed me, I was afraid no longer. Leave my sister alone, you disgusting rapist. Now that's the word you should be using, rapist. Because he is clearly a freaking rapist. At least he's attempting rape at the moment. We don't know if he's raped anyone before, but he's an attempted rapist. He's a rapist. He is more than anything, definitely. I slammed the door open with as much force as I could muster, screaming loudly enough that any remaining students on the same floor could hear me. Both the Tomi and Mr. Katsuna stopped dead, rendered speechless by the unexpected interruption. Megumi? Tomi softly uttered my name, as though confirming that she was seeing an illusion, rather than display relief or gratitude. So, this is your little sister, huh? No, please, leave her out of this. Oh, and just why should I do that? Listen to that foul mouth of hers. You're already corrupted her. Obviously, she's in need of some education. No, you can't. Run, Megumi! Don't let him catch you! Shut it. Showing no concern for herself, Hitomi begged me to escape. Mr. Katsuna himself, rather than feel worried by my presence, saw me as a tool to leverage my sister. They both saw my attempt at saving my sister as little more than interference, unnecessary and without purpose. Like hell I am. I wasn't about to give up. Even if my sister told me to save myself, there was no way I could abandon her. After standing idly by, completely oblivious to the treatment she endured, unable to do a thing to help her, I reached my limit. Let her go right now, or I'm going to scream until every teacher in the school comes running, you filthy pedophile. You? Mr. Katsuna snarled once more, agitated by my words. From the moment I started eavesdropping, I noticed that one word in particular seemed to drive him crazy. Well, Mr. Pedophile, are you going to release her or not, Mr. Pedophile? You wouldn't want to get fired now, would you, Mr. Pedophile? Oh, he must not like that word. No wonder he pisses him off. Mr. Katsuna glared at me angrily, tightened his grip on my sister's hair. Little bitch. Every bit as horrid and contemplative as your rat-bag sister. Megumi, stop it. You need to get out of here. I'll leave when that sick pig leaves. Though I suppose a pedophile like him would rather stay at school than go home, so it might be a while. Shut up. Shut the hell up. Turning more of his attention toward me, Mr. Katsuna continued to grow madder and madder. But his grip on my sister's hair didn't loosen at all. If anything, his violent shaking was causing her more pain than before. Uh-oh, Mr. Pedophile's getting angry. Say, Mr. Pedophile, why were you transferred here anyway? Did your pedophilic tendencies get the best of you? Were you outed as a pedophile? Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That was exactly what I was thinking. I'm like, this dude maybe he transferred because he had to leave his previous place because something happened. Maybe he got caught. Well, I guess he wouldn't have gotten caught. He must be getting away, because if he got caught, he wouldn't be here. Well, you would hope he wouldn't be here. That means he's gotten away with it before if he was transferred. It's just that his reputation was somewhat kind of ruined. But then again, why wouldn't the other school he's transferring to know that, there was rumors going on? Wouldn't you be worried? That's what I would hope. You'd be freaking worried. Stop provoking him. You don't know what you're doing. I guess pedophiles never change, huh? You can take the pedophile out of the school, but you can't take the... Shut the fuck up. Holy fucking shit. No wonder Megumi's probably saddened by this. She might blame herself. Did he just, slit her throat or something? How the hell did he get away with this shit? Make it look like an accident or something? What the fuck? He's gotta have, blood all over him. How the hell would he get away from out of this shit? At that moment, I finally understood my sister's desperate pleas. From my position in the doorway, looking directly towards my sister, I could see everything. I watched on in horror as my sister, screaming at me to run away, had her head slammed with violent force against the table in front of her. That's what he did. Oh, shit. Oh, damn. Or I thought he might have slit her throat or something, but no. Smashed her head into the... Clearly saw her tongue being severed by her teeth. Shit, man, so she bit her tongue off? And the unbelievable amount of blood that followed. I froze, staring blankly at the scene before me as my sister bled out. Oh, fuck. Mr. Katsuna, the man who had just bashed my sister's chin into the table in front of them, was speechless. Seconds ago, he was agitated beyond belief, consumed by anger and lust. So he never actually got a chance to rape her. Alright, but he attempted. Still, he was definitely going to rape her. But he definitely, yes. Yeah, I don't think he meant to kill her, though. I don't know. There's probably a word of type of murder, accidental murder. I don't know what the word would be, but maybe someone knows. Because he didn't actually want to kill her. It was an accident, but he still is responsible. But now, standing in a pool of his victim's blood, my sister's blood, reality had finally struck. No, I never meant to. Shocked by his own actions, Mr. Katsuna remained frozen in place. What was intended to be an act of lust and domination ended in death, a result nobody present had predicted. In the face of this vile scene, not even the murderer himself could keep his cool. Unlike Mr. Katsuna, I did not flee the scene, didn't move, didn't speak, didn't register anything happening around me. Despite standing, I was practically comatose, rendered useless by what I had just seen. My thoughts continued to cycle through memories of Hitomi, fond recollections of our time together. Peaceful days I thought would never end. But ultimately, I realized that there was only one memory that mattered. I tried to save my sister. I tried to help her. I wanted to protect my beloved sister. It meant the world to me, and for whom I would have done anything. Got her killed. I think you're putting too much blame on yourself, girl. I mean, I think the result probably could have been a little different if you didn't, make him so mad. But you would have never predicted, you can't predict, that he would have tried to kill her. Or accidentally killed her, would have done that. It's not something you can... Yes, you probably could have approached it differently, and maybe not made him so mad, but you never know if the result would have been the same. That he might have still got pissed off and killed her, or maybe you both would have, he would have raped you both. Who knows what else? I mean, you don't know the result. I mean, I wouldn't blame Megumi. I mean, like, yes, you probably could have approached it differently. Maybe not egged him on like that so much, so where he got pissed off and did something that, of course, he didn't mean to do, but still. It's not your fault, Megumi. It's not your fault, Megumi. Despite thinking that way, I didn't really blame myself. Even if my intervention had been the trigger, I was lucid enough to realize I wasn't to blame. Well, that's good to know. You're not the one to blame. It's not your fault. At least you understand that. There was someone else. The person who caused all this. The person who set all this into motion. One person I could never forgive. Katsuna. I quietly uttered to myself, unaware that those who had heard the collective screams of my sister and I had arrived. Katsuna? As in, Mr. Katsuna? The new teacher? What about him? I don't see... Despite the urgency with which they had arrived, the few people who did show up were totally relaxed. Or, at least they were. Right until... Oh my god, what the... Ah! Good heavens, is that... Students, don't look. Upon setting their sights on my sister's fresh corpse, the students and teachers who gradually arrived at the scene all had the same reactions. Students were repulsed, teachers were horrified, yet they all just stood around, contributing nothing at all. Katsuna, he did this. Miss Hinohara, what are you? I'm telling you, it was Mr. Katsuna! He did this! That disgusting pedophile did this! calm down. Miss Hinohara, just take a deep breath, Anne. He did! He tried to rape my sister, then he killed her! I saw it all with my own eyes. I continued to shout, telling everybody who could listen about what I saw. I repeated time and time again that it was Mr. Kitsuna who was responsible. The one who killed my sister. In the end, he was caught. Bloodstains on his shoes, my sister's hair on his shirt, and his fingerprints embedded into her flesh as bruises. Then how did he get another teaching job? What the fuck? If he was caught, how the fuck did he get out? Dude should be behind fucking bars. Although it took a while for DNA tests to be conducted, and for the man to be charged, everybody knew without a doubt that he was the one who killed her. But even with the man responsible in custody, life didn't get any better. My parents, utterly broken after having lost their first daughter, refused to so much as look at me. Mere existence reminded them of Hitomi. Just by being in the same house as them, I was causing them pain. I guess that explains why she lives alone. It was then that I realized Hitomi was the lucky one. Without Hitomi around, and with my parents rejecting me outright, for the first time in my life I was completely alone. Left behind by my own family. I experienced agony worse than death. Soul-crushing loneliness which Hitomi could no longer fill, and my parents simply refused to. I craved their attention more than anything. I wanted my family to acknowledge me, to see that they still had another daughter. As time dragged on, the wounds did not heal. Upon realizing that I no longer had a place in that household, I quickly moved out. My parents readily agreed to rent an apartment for me, anything to get away from me, and I started to live on my own. Brought with me only my school supplies and clothes, happy to live a minimalistic lifestyle as I tried to regain my sense of self. Between talks with police officers and counselors, I hadn't been to school since the day my sister died, nor had I done anything for myself. When I moved out, I saw it as a chance to rebuild myself anew. I would become the person I always wanted to be. The happy, energetic, reliable person I always looked up to. I guess that explains her personality. She wanted to be a happy, energetic, and reliable person. And I would say that's what she was. She was living that life that she wanted to make anew for herself. She was moving on until this fucker turned up in his life or in her life again. Ruined it. No longer living in someone else's shadow. Finally have an identity of my own. Adopting the best parts of my idol, I would surpass her at least, and become someone who could have been her equal. And that, how I became who I am today. That was kind of sad, and I guess happy at the same time. I mean, sad that such terrible things, but that built her character, you could say. She wouldn't have become the girl she is today if that didn't happen. Even though it is sad that her sister died and stuff. It allowed her to move on and become her own person. And be a nice person. She probably put enough happiness, I think, into people's lives, probably. She did seem like a very nice girl. She probably played plenty of people to smile. Sorry, I think I may have gotten a little off topic there. Megumi, you have told a lot of your past right there. Questions I had and pretty much have been answered. What happened? Also explained a question I did not really have, and that was where your character came from. Why you're so energetic and happy all the time. Well, that's what you wanted to be. You wanted to be an energetic, happy person, and you pretty much became what you wanted. You wanted to be positive. It's a long story, so it's hard to keep on track without leaving out any details. Why? I clutched my hands tight, as I had continued to do during Megumi's recollection. I could feel my hands going white and my nails threatening to break the skin. Hideaki, what do you mean, why? What do you think I mean? Why would a person like that, why would anybody do such a horrible thing to another human being? Why would your parents choose to live in grief rather than be thankful for the daughter they still have? Why would the police ever let an inhuman monster like that out of prison? That's the question I want to know. I understand the parent thing, and that is a relationship thing between her and her parents that would need counseling and other things to get through, and a lot of mending to try to fix. But the big issue is, why is that fucker out of prison? Why is he walking the frickin' streets, and how did he get another teaching job? How the hell did he get another teaching job? I mean, I would understand maybe getting out, because, you know, everyone does their time and then gets out. Maybe he was mistakenly let out. People do get mistakenly let out. Or something else happened. Maybe he escaped and stole someone's identity. But he has the same name, so I guess he couldn't have stolen someone's identity. Man. Or maybe he lucked out. One of those things, because those things that come across, like mistrials. And then he basically got out scot-free, even though he was, you know, all the evidence is there. But the trial was handled wrong. I think that happens too. Maybe that's what happened. Oh, the questions on why he's out. Now that's the new question. Why is this asshole out? And still doing this shit? Why? Just why? I screamed at Megumi as a few tears began to stream down my cheeks. My face was hot, and I had no idea what kind of awful expressions I was making. Even so... Hideaki. Megumi just smiled at me. After telling such an emotive and depressing story, after seeing my face riddled with anguish and empathy, Megumi smiled. I wish I could tell you, Hideaki. I don't know why my parents feel the way they do, and I hope I never have to find out. I don't know why Mr. Katsuna was let go either. With all the evidence stacked against him, it seems inconceivable that he would get out of prison, let alone teach again. That's what I'm thinking, man. What happened? Something must have happened. There is something that you don't know about between the time frame that you didn't see him and now that he was able to get out. Whatever it was, it must have been pretty big to get off scot-free. Well, for all we know, he might have got out scot-free. Maybe he didn't. Totally scot-free. Honestly, I don't think I can answer any of your questions. I simply don't have the answers. Even so, thank you, Hideaki. Huh? I don't understand. Why are you... Hideaki, when my sister died, I thought my life was over. I thought that I would never smile again, that I had nothing to live for. Further to that, with even my parents shunning me, I was truly alone for the first time in my life. I was devastated, isolated, exiled. I desperately craved the attention and the warmth of another human being. That might explain her... why when she... I guess, you know, fell in love with you. She was so clingy. You know, now... there was something in her past that made her, you know, that way. she's been alone. She's been lonely. That's why she was so clingy to you. That does explain some stuff. Definitely explains some of her personality of why she really clingy and wanted to do everything. Because she's been alone. Definitely, after hearing that, I wouldn't. Now it's like, man, I would even feel a little guilt. Like, damn, now that I know that shit, I kind of feel awful thinking that, man, you're kind of really clingy and shit. But now that I know why, maybe I'd be more willing to put up with it. I wouldn't have exactly the same approach to it. I wouldn't be like, oh, come on. I'll be like, okay. I'll be a little more open to those things that I maybe not have been before. Because now I know the reason why you want to do this all. There's a reason behind it instead of it being kind of annoying. And the moment I lay eyes on you, I knew you were the one I was waiting for. Megumi continued to smile, not hesitating in the least to speak such embarrassing lines. I know it sounds corny, but I truly believe that what I experienced was love at first sight. As time went on, I thought the feeling would fade. I thought I'd realize that it was just physical attraction, or that I was mistaken, and yet, the more I learned about you, the stronger my feelings grew. Hidekai Naito, a pure, innocent, kind, helpful boy who's fun to be around, someone who can go at my pace, yet take control when things go wrong. Put up with my selfishness, yet you've never been afraid to speak your mind. You softly reprimand me, make me want you to scold me all the more. And then finally, today, you cried for me. You defended me when I needed you most. You get angry for my sake. You cried over the pain I felt. You listened in silence as I told you everything. Hideaki, now more than ever, I'm absolutely certain that I love you. From start to finish, Megumi happily confessed her feelings. Her teary eyes, blushing cheeks, and smiling lips all filled me with uncontrollable anxiety as I returned her loving gaze with quite shock. However, knowing that I couldn't remain that way forever, I gave her the only answer I could think of. Oh, you guessed her! Without saying a word, I took Megumi in my arms and stole her lips. She was surprised at first and almost jumped back, but as soon as she realized what was happening, Megumi forcefully returned my embrace. Soft lips pressed against my heart against mine, leaving no space between us. I could feel every inch of her warm body pressing up against mine. Even Megumi's heartbeat was clearly felt by my body, beating wildly as she tightened her grip, unwilling to let go. But as she squeezed the air from my lungs, I had little choice but to go against her. Whoa, calm down, Megumi. Let me breathe once in a while, okay? I know I was the one who started it, but still. I'm sorry. It's just, I've dreamed about this for so long. I guess I got a little too excited. You've dreamed about us kissing. Yes, among other things. I can only imagine what the other things are. Uh-oh. Not good, not good. Start saying those things while our bodies are pressed up against like this. Megumi is bound to feel my... You have an erection? Is that what you're saying, man? But that isn't what I meant. Oh shit. Okay. What I meant to say is, I've dreamed about my first kiss, about my first boyfriend. Not that rare for a high school girl to think that way. I know, but for someone like me, cast away from everyone she cares about. Honestly, Hideaki, if I didn't have you, I don't know what I'd do. Megumi. And that's how it is. Kind of figured from her story, but I understand now why Megumi has been so clingy and friendly. Well, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, now that we know a little bit more about her, her past, her dark past, I guess you could say, her hidden past that maybe she wouldn't have been willing to open up to, really, and she probably desired more or less to forget. We kind of learned a little bit more of why she is the way she is. You know, some people do act specific ways. Reasons why people act the way they do is some things they've experienced in their life. Maybe there's certain things that might make someone jump because a traumatic thing has happened. Traumatic things do trigger people to do certain things, but not all. Doesn't always do something. Everyone has issues in life in their past that maybe there's things that some people wish not to remember. Someone who has lost everyone, it's only natural that she'd be desperate for companionship, whether in the form of love or just friendship. And yet Hideaki? What's wrong? Megumi, I need to apologize. You do? But you've done nothing wrong, Aki. How I wish that were true. Megumi, the truth is, I couldn't stand you. Oh, hello. I think she's a little surprised there. I understand totally what he's saying. Mugumi, I don't think you can fault him for that, but I think he's changed his mind a little bit more about you. Now that he knows a little bit more. You can't, I don't hold it against him for saying that he had an issue. It's totally understandable how clingy she was, how much control she kind of had. You know, he just wanted a little bit of freedom, and hopefully she'll understand and maybe loosen up a little bit. They want the relationship to work. She'll kind of have to. You can't be all up in there like that. It's going to be hard, but after Megumi's been this honest with me, I owe her the truth. Megumi, the moment we met, you've been loud, clingy, and had serious boundary issues. You invited yourself into my home. You misled people, my mother included, into thinking we had a relationship. At times, you even pushed my other friends away. Even so, I did like you. So I convinced myself that after we started dating, you would change. You wouldn't be so needy. And yet, by the time summer break was over, I couldn't wait to get away from you. Hideaki? Megumi's voice cracked a little as she spoke my name. That's why, when you were so troubled by that man, I didn't notice. I didn't notice the harassment my girlfriend was enduring. All I could think about was my own damn freedom. Honestly relieved that you were depressed. It meant having you tone everything down. I thought it might be for the best. But that was unbelievably selfish of me. I should have told you straight how I felt. I should have just been honest with you from the start. Instead, I just kept deceiving you, pretending that everything was alright. Right up until the moment I burst in here, it's just been one deception after another. I've been the worst boyfriend ever. Why? I'm sorry for everything I've done and everything I've failed to do. Megumi stared at me silently as I finished speaking. Same silence I so craved not long ago. Fantasy when Megumi was present filled the room. but with the next word to be spoken likely to be an explicit confirmation, perhaps silence would be for the best. Even if I've hurt Megumi, we couldn't continue like we were. We need to know the truth, no matter the cost. And props to you, man, for telling her. Open up. I mean, deceiving people. I mean, there's no reason to go to tag people around, to pull someone by a string if you have an issue with them, especially when it's a relationship. If you're trying an intimate relationship as girlfriend, boyfriend, or anything, if you have an issue with the other person and you want to break it off, you shouldn't just continue to pull that string along. Continue to like lie and not really lie, but deceive, I guess. To deceive yourself too. To continue to try and be like, you know what, we can work this out. We just keep going, but nothing happens. I'm just gonna lead to more pain. But opening up, maybe she will take a look at herself and maybe she'll be like, yes, I was that. I understand totally what you were saying. I only hope that she can find it in her heart to forgive me. Is that so? Megumi looked at me with teary eyes, trying her best not to cry. Her lips quivered as she spoke, and I could see her hands trembling by her sides. I'm sorry. Don't apologize, Hideaki. I've done nothing wrong. I'm the one in the wrong, forcing myself on you like that. No, that's... Don't deny it. I know how unreasonable I've been. If anything, I'm glad you told me that, Hideaki. After all, I need to know these things if I'm going to become your bride. Well, she's still... I think this might be something right there. She hasn't given up on you, man. Even though you admitted that. The question is, have you given up on her? Or do you want to continue this relationship? He's thinking to himself, Megumi, I'm glad you can still joke like that, but... I'm not joking. I know I've said and done a lot of stupid things, but I've never lied about how I feel about you. Besides, even if you didn't like me in the beginning, or started to resent me, all that matters is how you feel about me right now. Whether you say it or not, your lips have already told me everything I need to know. I guess, that is pretty much true. I mean, what you feel about what was in the past is in the past. What kind of matters is now. What is your opinion now about her? How do you feel now? Your opinion before, well, why should that matter? I mean, yes, you can say it, but what about now? At any rate, Aki, even if you've made some mistakes, I'm hardly in a position to judge. Neither of us is perfect, and I love you all the same. Megumi's tears had dried up, yet her face remained flushed and red. Despite the ease with which she had said such things, embarrassment was obvious, and Megumi looked like she might collapse at any minute. After the emotional roller coaster she had been on and the physical hardship she had endured, Megumi needed to rest, even if she hadn't yet realized it herself. So, where do we go from here? Well, Megumi, for one, I don't think you can... you gotta do something about that teacher. I don't know what it is, but I don't know. I just don't see how you can continue doing anything. Going to having him as a teacher. I just don't think it's possible. He is clearly a freaking murderer. The thing is, I don't think I could deal with him every day, even if they've made up. She's still gonna have stress in her life, and of course he's gonna have stress in his life. Because for one thing, they have a relationship, he knows more about the past of what happened, and there's definitely going to be lots of Anger flowing through. The anger monkeys! Ah! If that was a breakup kiss, I'm going to demand a do-over. A do-over. A do-over! Smiling like her old self, Megumi showed no sign of her previous dismay as she continued with her usual humor. Is that so? And if it wasn't, then I'm going to pay you back in turn for you taking my first kiss. So, we're kissing either way. Isn't that a given? When couples have a fight, they kiss and make up. Isn't that how it goes? Actually, I have heard a saying like that. Of course, even if that wasn't a real saying, Megumi would still use it to her advantage. And just this once, they kiss again. I'll gladly let her. I actually think that is a good enough place to end it off here. I was almost thinking of ending it earlier, but I just had to continue to see what the hell was happening. I think this is a good enough spot to end off. We'll see where the story continues here. Because something's got to happen with this Mr. Katsuna guy. That is what we haven't solved. We basically came to the conclusion of what on earth has happened with Megumi in her past, and learned more about her, and have gotten closer, you could say. Definitely, they have gotten closer. You know, I'm not gonna lie, reading some of that has gotten, that story was pretty sad. That part of the story, some little sad part. And then, of course, got back up in a little bit of happiness. But we still gotta deal with this dude, this asshole right here. This rapist, murdering fucktard. Well, we're gonna have to see what happens in the next one later. Well, guys, hopefully you enjoyed that. I know I really enjoyed it. I've enjoyed this one, this visual novel so far. I've enjoyed this up and down. I like it. I like that a story is not afraid to put on the concept of rape or murder or any of that stuff in its story, because they can be used as story elements. And of course, they're negative. And there's nothing wrong with having negative story elements. You're trying to tell a story, and it can build character as well. Build up characters, relationships, and everything like that. And as we've seen, I think he's done an okay job with it. I mean, he never actually raped her, but still, that was implied there. He was going to do that. Definitely, that was where it was going to. Well, guys, thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you're looking forward to whatever happens next. Who knows how much we have left here? I have no idea. We could be getting close. Definitely it seems like it's definitely hitting a high point. It has pretty much hit a high point, and I think it might be getting close to ending off. So we might have a couple episodes left. Maybe 1, maybe 2, maybe 3. Who knows? Well, guys, thank you, and you all have a great day.